Today I will be explaining about miracles, and I'm Cesar Arcizo.
Corey. Mike.
Alright, before we start, fellas, I think we should start with prayer. Let's get things rolling. Alright, dear Lord, thank you for bringing us together today to have a discussion about you and to help us overall just grow in our faith. But that's what's most important to us, and I feel like that this is only beneficial to us. In your name we pray. Alright. Before we start, do you guys want to give me a background of where you guys come from with y'all's faith, and faith walk and everything?
I've been Church of Christ, the whole time. I've been a Christian. Cause my parents, they originally took me into a Church of Christ and told me that was the best way that we could, worship God, and, get closer with Him. And I was baptized when I was a freshman in high school.
Cool.
I was born into Church of Christ. I'm a Church of Christ member right now. I'm a firm believer of God. I was baptized either in 2013 or 2014. Yeah.
I'm assuming you guys obviously believe in God. You guys you guys have a reason, or maybe just walk off half for why you do believe in God. It goes on personal faith.
I feel like one time at church, I just got chills from the word, and it started correlating with my life. I feel like that message correlated with my life, and I was like, wow, Jesus is talking about this in the Bible, and it's actually still happening, and we're living through it still, and so that's why I believe in God, because
that actually ties into our lesson today. But before
the original reason was because my parents kind of not really made me go to church, but it was just a thing that we went to church, But I agree with you. There's been moments in church where I've gotten chills, because of the songs and the way a song sounded, or the message behind it. There's definitely things that give me chills and made me believe there's a higher power. And I know the only reason we're here is to worship God, and if we don't believe, there's really no point. Because after we die, we die. If we don't believe in God, we have to believe there's eternal life, after this.
Cool. So again, your lesson, your experience, or your reason for becoming the faith, but actually tie in well. So we're explaining about miracles today. So what do you guys think miracles are?
I think miracles are something that shouldn't really happen, but through God, it does happen. It could either be good or bad, or it could only be good, I feel like, through God.
Right, because miracles are a work of God.
Yeah.
They can only happen through Christ. That's it.
So it's something it defeats the outcomes.
Right.
When the outcomes is low or bad, it still rises above.
Okay, that makes sense. What you got, Corey?
It's definitely something that's unexpected, but in a good way. But some people think that a baby is a miracle, like the birth of a baby, and it really is miraculous, how babies are born. It's just crazy, and maybe someone who doesn't really have a chance, they're dying in a hospital, and by some miracle, they're brought back to us, or their health is restored, and I can see that as a miracle of God.
Right. So there were four foundational principles of why of miracles. So if a miracle were to happen, we're not to question their sincerity of it. So we can't be are you sure though? That was crazy, but are you sure it was a miracle? If someone says that it was, it's just.
It's just.
Right. And so I guess along with all this, there is a point where those holding the position that God is not working outside the laws of nature today still believe that God works today through His providence. And we all took Bob Gray's class. Remember providence? That was like his big thing. So that is God still answering prayers and acts within the laws of nature He established to achieve His will. So that itself can be like flipped. So like, would you consider like God doing His will and His work? Is that a miracle in that sense, or is those two distinctly different things? Like God doing His work and a miracle.
That miracle is part of God's work, I feel like.
Right.
And so,
And God's work is like, some of it is crazy. Like the way He made the earth, like some people can see that as a miracle, the way the earth was made.
Right.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I think they kind of go hand in hand.
yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Right. So now we've got our thoughts on miracles. So like, the miracle by Bible definition is, so like there are examples. So like here, like a person is bitten by a poisonous snake and receives absolutely no harm from it. Like that would probably be considered a miracle. That's pretty insane, you know. So according to the Bible, that would be a miracle. Another one would be like a person can speak in a foreign language he or she has never studied. So I mean, I've had personal experiences with that. You know, the people have spoken in tongues, or whatever, that probably never studied tongues in their life. You know, it's crazy stuff. And then another one would be like a person born blind can see immediately. Like that is something else. You know, like I don't know. There's no scientific explanation. There's no like human justification. Like it's a miracle. You know, it's crazy. So, do you think people can sometimes mistake a miracle for something factual?
Yeah, to a certain extent. Like, it depends on if the person has faith in God or if they're a firm believer.
Right.
Because if they're not a firm believer, they're gonna be like, "Oh, that
Right.
just happened. Like, that's pretty cool. That's good."
Mm-hmm.
They ain't gonna think God did that.
Right.
So of course somebody could mistake it for something factual.
Well, I have an example that can maybe turn this discussion in the right direction. So, like, a person praying for a safe trip has one. That wouldn't be a miracle. But sometimes people can mistake it for that, right?
I would think so.
You
It's
think
like,
so?
I mean, like we can think something is like really cool that happens, or like crazy, but I mean, there could be a natural, you know, reason behind it. Like there doesn't have to be like a higher power that was in
Right.
control of it.
Right.
I mean, there's always an explanation for some things.
Right.
All good things aren't.
Right.
They can be miracles, but most, like, not most of them, but
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying.
Making sense. No, you are. So, okay. So aside from like, you know, mistaking miracles for factual or not, you know, there are also times where people like claim there's a miracle, but they're not. You know, so like, you know, it says that like, you know, we're supposed to believe somebody, right? But there are ways to for people to like tell if someone's trying to decept them or trying to lie to them. You know, that was a miracle. So sometimes those who claim miracles are often use deceptive practices. So one who has documented this was James Randi. I haven't really read up on James Randi that much, so I really couldn't give you the exact example of that. But I'm sure one along the lines of like, you know, something happened and he was trying to decept somebody that something would happen. It's kind of, I guess you can see it as like the boy who cried wolf.
yeah.
You know.
Okay.
So I guess that would be good to know as well. So the last point I have here is to describe why miracles are not happening again, or biblical miracles.
Well, maybe because Jesus isn't like in his physical form right now, like walking on earth. Like, because I know he performed miracles by touching people and healing. You know, if they were blind or leprosy or whatever it was, like we don't see Jesus walking around, you know, today doing
Right.
that.
That's a tough question though, because in the Bible it says that he lives inside of us, like
Right.
the Holy Spirit, the Spirit.
No, he does.
So if he lives in us, why can't we?
We what you mean today? Like,
Yeah,
again
that's-
today. Well, I mean, I have facts for you of why it won't happen today. So apparently, actually, the apostles died and they took their powers with them. And secondly, miracles are no longer needed since we have the completed scripture. And right now is the wrong time to have miracles, because miracles won't happen again until Jesus returns. Right. But back then, it was way different. What was that one story? I think it was Peter that healed the man on the steps. Right. The dude couldn't walk. Right. He was crippled, right? And Peter one day he healed him, right? But through God, God was through him, and he healed the man's legs.
Is that where he was in front of the temple?
Yes, in front of the temple.
Okay, I remember that.
It's just crazy though. Stuff that happened then, it won't happen now. It does kind of suck, sometimes maybe we really believe that we need God. We need God to show us something. Because a lot of times that's how non-believers have faith. It's so ridiculous, but they have to see something to believe.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they did see it, they would try to manipulate it and try to justify it as why no, it wasn't God's work.
Find other ways.
Right, exactly.
Like how the earth was made, everyone's trying to find a way why we're here, but if we believe in God, we trust that it's because of Him.
Right.
And we're here to spread His word.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, all right. I guess we hit the message on the T. You guys like to break it out in prayer?
I'll pray.
All right.
Dear God, thank you for this day and giving us a chance to just come together and talk about your word, and hopefully we have a better understanding of what we talked about here today, and we just want to give you thanks for all the blessings you've given us. And in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Thanks, fellas.